Hey YouTube, my name is Dustin Atwood. I'm the operations or one of the operations managers for A1 Custom Car Care. We are located in Springfield, Missouri, as well as Republic, Missouri. We have 3 locations. So whatever platform you're hearing us on, if you're away from Springfield, hopefully you view this as entertainment and maybe informational. If you are local and want us to help you out, just give one of the stores a holler through Google. A lot of you are reaching out through Messenger and whatnot with me. That's fine. I do my best to keep up on it, but I'm very busy. There's a lot of times that I'm working in the shops on customer cars with technicians doing training, and I don't have a full-time media person that I can just have manage all that stuff. Maybe someday we'll get there, but we're not there as of yet. So if you are subscribed to the channel, I greatly appreciate you hanging out with us. Try not to shake the camera too much. And I wanted to talk about basically a year in review of kind of being a little bit more present on particularly YouTube. You'll find some of us out there on our podcast, iTunes, Spotify, all that stuff. You'll see us on Facebook occasionally as well, but predominantly YouTube. And so it's something that I had thought about for a long time, putting content out on YouTube. We're not a huge channel. The majority of the people that consume our content, I think it's about 94%, are not subscribed to the channel. So we are reaching a lot of people out there. If you see some value in it, please consider subscribing. It does help the channel out. But I'm looking at my analytics, and you'll see me kind of view my eyes in here from time to time. We're right at 800 subscribers, 801 as of January 1st, 2025. January 1st. Apparently the year hasn't caught up with me yet. July 1st of 2025. And we have about 4,000 hours of consumed content. So clearly, hopefully, I'm helping some people out there. That's really the premise behind putting content out there on YouTube, as well as getting people familiar with A1 Custom Car Care, Dustin Atwood, etc. And maybe some of the things that we're working on as a company, or I'm working on kind of developing some of our processes and procedures. And I share a lot of that with you. You'll see more and more glimpses of A1 Custom and the shops and what's going on at the shops as we go. The last year has really been me kind of figuring out some of the camera, some of the audio, and to some of these big, large channels out there, that's a crew of people doing that, and I think that's fantastic. I'm just, an old mechanic here at this point, and I'm trying to figure out how some of this stuff works, what the camera angles, audio, sometimes it's the wrong camera for the job that I'm trying to do, and what I'm sharing with you. As well as you'll notice that I don't edit very often. And if I do, you probably don't even notice it because it's so minor, you wouldn't even notice it. And maybe that's good, maybe that's bad. You guys can let me know down in the comments. But I do that somewhat intentionally and somewhat by necessity as well. We stay very busy at the shops all the time. And again, I'm going to start bringing you guys in along with some of the repairs that I'm doing in the shops, some of the cool projects that we're doing for some of you customers out there. And I know several of you out there that do subscribe to the channel and do participate in the comment section. I see you guys here in the shop. I get to talk to you from time to time. You know who my people are. Sorry about that. I'll have to call you back. You know who my people are taking care of the shop, because A1 Custom Car Care is a much bigger place than Dustin Atwood. We have probably, I would say, 30 different technicians, mechanics, and probably, maybe 10 to 12 different service advisors and managers out there. So a lot of moving parts to get a bunch of you out there taken care of, as well as we spend a certain amount of time down in Northwest Arkansas. We have 2 shops, one in Fayetteville and one in Rogers, that are Seaburg service centers, and I've worked as part of that company for the majority of the time with A1 Custom Car Care. That's kind of a trade secret at this point, but I feel like if you're subscribed to the channel, you probably know that already anyway. A lot of the custom exhaust videos that I do down in Rogers, that is people bringing stuff and scheduling it when I'm going to be down there to get some of those large custom exhaust jobs taken care of. But back to kind of a year in review of YouTube, what it's been like. So your channel got 466,337 views in the last 365 days. That's very humbling. Thank you guys all for tuning in and weighing in the comment section. A lot of the comment section spurs videos. You know, maybe I do, and I do my level best to comment back and interact with you guys, but again, I'm very busy. A lot of times it's easier and actually I think more interesting for me because in my brain, I think a lot of people live, eat, and breathe automotive repair, which is what I've done pretty much my entire adult life as well as my teenage years on top of that. And I still love this business to this day. So almost right at about 500,000 views. I mean, I know we're not quite there, but I feel like we're working on it. Watch time has been 6,400 hours of watch time. So it's not like you guys are just clicking on the videos and then being like, hey, this is rubbish and letting it go away. And like I said, we have just a little over 800 subscribers. I don't know what a normal channel does. I don't know what that looks like in the first year. Part of the reason that I'm doing this video as well is I saw another YouTuber basically do a video for the future you to look back and be able to, you know, reflect on where you were at. And I feel like the 1 year mark, and as I kind of roll through here, bear with me a moment, it looks like July 15th of 24, we had 60 subscribers. July, looks like right about right now, so the 1st of July of 2024 is when I really kind of, I don't want to say started taking it seriously, but started getting consistent with some of the videos of some of the interesting things that I feel like I'm doing that you don't see other content on. There's a lot of automotive channels out there, a lot of automotive companies out there, a lot of homesteading channels. When I research things or I try and figure things out, I don't see videos on a lot of this stuff. So I thought, well, I might as well be the one to start putting some of that out there. I'm sure I'm not the only person running into some of that stuff and would appreciate either an insight into what's going on with my car, what's going on, maybe raising some livestock. You can see some 3 hogs that basically we raised this last year, sent them to process, and then that is essentially feeding my family at this point in time. We've done that with cows. I don't believe I've done that and videoed it all. I think I've done probably 4 different sets of cows in the last several years, and I'm just getting to the point where I'm about ready to do that again. So I'll keep that on the channel. This is basically heavily automotive, but it's about life. It's about what's going on in the current events, at least as I see it. And then maybe when I'm old and gray, which I'm working on it now, I'll be able to reflect back on some of this. And along the way, hopefully it helps some of you out there. I know some of my diesel videos have gotten some of the most views and some of the most questions. And I can tell specifically you're looking for content that I didn't find out there. And so I made a video about it. And I know that it's helped probably a dozen, if not more than that of you at this point. But you've at least commented and we've communicated back and forth on some specific pattern failure issues with folks that love the Duramax platform or the 7.3 Power Stroke platform, even some of the Cummins platforms. I don't do a ton of Cummins work. I do some, but it seems like Duramax and Power Stroke is the lion's share of what particularly happens to find me. So we're going to continue building some of that content that you're most interested in, and I'm going to continue doing YouTube, at least for the interim. I enjoy it a bunch, and I feel like it's a way to give back to an industry, for the most part, that's taken very good care of me and my family. I've been a career technician for over 20 years. I've been employed with A1 Custom Car Care for over 20 years. A lot of my technicians or fellow advisors, managers, if they haven't been with us 10, 15, 20 years, which several of them have, I have one that's well into the 30s and one that's going to be 40 years next year. So I believe that says something about A1 Custom Car Care and, you know, what it's like to work here. as well as if they haven't been with me, most of them have been in the business working for somebody else that I know for the length of time that I've been in the business. So a lot of them that have come on board in the last 20 years are folks that, kind of saw what A1 Custom was doing a little differently. And I feel like it's really important to continue getting that out. There's some great channels out there doing this and doing a good job at it. And I feel like there's no reason why we can't be a part of that. There's a shop owner here in Springfield that I've gotten to talk to just a couple times. He's a very successful shop owner. And one of the things that I yielded from him is that steel sharpens steel. And what I took from that is there's really, I don't want to say not competition, but that's really what I mean, is there's so many cars out on the road these days. Families have 7, 8 cars sometimes, depending on the multi-generation that are living in the same household. I show you some of the cars that I'm refurbishing or rehabbing for some of our young kids coming up throughout the driving ages. And that's a big rite of passage. I remember my first dozen vehicles. They were vehicles that other people had given up on. They decided, hey, I am sick of putting money in this. I'm sick of working on it. I'm sick of taking it to somebody. Nobody can fix it, whatever the case may be. And those were the vehicles that I sought out when I was younger. But they're also the vehicles that I still seek out to this day. I do a lot of rehab work, a lot of repower work. Here at A1 Custom, we take care of a lot of fleets out there. And my goal the entire time that I have been in the automotive field for personally or professionally has been to get as many miles out of a vehicle as possible. And that's not just selfish for me. I've done many videos. I've had many vehicles that I've owned personally that have 300 plus thousand, 400 plus thousand on them, and are still valuable enough either to keep in my fleet and keep driving, or even that somebody else will pay me for a high mileage vehicle because they see that it was actually taken care of and is at 300,000 and 400,000 still in very good shape. I do that for a lot of customers out here as well. You look at what they have talked about my entire life is, oh, you don't buy a new vehicle because of the depreciation. And that's right. You take a big hit on the depreciation right out of the gate. But where you start making up on that depreciation, where it starts coming back to you, you look at some of these vehicles that are 20 years old now. So it's 2025. So let's go back to 2005. Those vehicles right now, because of the state of the new vehicles and the elevated pricing, if they've been taken care of, some of those vehicles are bringing as much, if not more, than what they did when they were sold brand new. Never in the history of the automotive industry that I can remember has that ever happened. You look at a regular cab, four-wheel drive pickup, Ford, Chevy, Dodge. When I was getting ready to start driving, which would have been probably in like 99 or 2000, maybe a little earlier than that, but somewhere in the ballpark. You could buy a nice brand new truck for $10,000. You look at some of those OBS, and if you don't know what OBS stands for, that's old body style. You look at some of those OBS trucks of any genre, I'd even throw Toyota in there. Those things are bringing some cash. So not only did you drive it, hopefully, for 20 years, take care of it, repairs, maintenance, etc., you may be able to cash out on that and get every dollar, if not more, for that old body style vehicle than when you paid for it originally. But the thing is, the people that have done that, they don't want to get rid of it. And I would argue the quality then is better than the quality now. Sometimes you got to turn around and look where you came from in order to know where you are. And so as I kind of look historically, we're looking at a year in reflection of YouTube, it begs the question, where are we going and how are we going to get there? I don't think the only thing that I can think of is we got to keep one foot in front of the other and we got to keep moving forward. And if you happen to have one of those older vehicles and you've taken good care of it, you have an absolute gem right there. We got an S10 out here in the shop today as I came here from lunch. It was probably, I'm going to say 99 or 2000, mint paint. I bet that truck was probably, I don't know, 8 grand, 9 grand back then. I bet you $1 would bring that much now. So we're kind of documenting a little bit of at least my viewpoint of the automotive industry is the lion's share of it. And then some of the side gigs that I get into. You'll see some landscaping stuff on here. You'll see some equipment work, equipment repair, grading, hauling, that kind of stuff. I'm interested in a lot of things, and I feel like I want to share it with you guys out there. So I don't know that I'm going to run this video a full half hour like I normally do. I don't know there's a lot to talk about, but I'm pretty excited to be sharing a lot of this with you. I'm really thankful for the amount of interaction we've had out there. This week is a little hectic. We started out the week with our shop here at Fort and Sunshine without power. And that's one of those things kind of when you're reflecting as well. When we built this, and anybody that's been in Springfield here, I guarantee you probably know where their shop is because we bought the old Come and Go that was, across from the shop forever, and we turned it into our garage mahal, if you will. It's a beautiful shop. I'll give you guys a tour here in the next few weeks and, kind of give you a little behind the scenes look at it as well. But I should have put a generator hookup or some kind of alternate power at all the buildings. So that's on my to-do list going forward. Probably going to make sure that happens in the next few years. We had our shop in Rogers last year kind of get scraped by a tornado. My heart goes out to a lot of you there in Rogers. That's still a pretty big recovery. That tornado meant business. We did have some damage. It wasn't anything catastrophic. I think we were without power for probably 2 to 3 weeks, give or take. We ran off a trailer-mounted generator. So kind of as a public service announcement, probably wouldn't hurt to have some backup redundancies. I know that's not what the video is about, but hopefully future me looks at this and I have already got the backup power situation taken care of at the shops, and that way we can make sure and take care of all of you folks out there. All of you that do choose A1 Custom Car Care for your automotive repair, I greatly appreciate that, and I really love getting to make sure that we're getting you as many miles out of your vehicle as possible. So any questions, comments, concerns, please hit me down in the comments. If you want to do service with one of the A1 Customs or Seaburg Service Center down in Arkansas, hit up the Google. I know that makes me sound like an old man, and I don't care. Find one of our folks. They'll get you taken care of. And I look forward to visiting with you guys as we keep on doing the YouTube. This is 365 Days in Review.